Today I want to talk about sketching using the reference pictures. Usually for my work, I either get the pictures from the clients, or if I'm just doing something for myself, I go, for example, on Pixabay, Unsplash, or on some other websites which offer royalty-free images, and I use those ones for my work. And these three which you can see here are from Pixabay. So if you are interested in these pictures, you can just go on Pixabay and download them. Maybe you've already seen this one because I already painted this one, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. What I think that is important, if you want your work to look like a reference picture, then you have to also think about the size of this reference picture. For example, I have here different sizes. So if you have a reference picture which is like this one here, and you are using this whole paper, this one, or even like a bigger one, to put this piece, you will not get the right result, or you will maybe not be satisfied at the end, because you will think, why does not my picture which I painted look like this? And a lot of times the problem is that people take like this reference picture and then they stretch it, and that's the problem. While doing that stretching of the picture, you get totally different result. It is not what you were intending to draw. Let's say that I want to paint, maybe let's take this one. Let's say I want to paint this on this paper. I think you already see the problem here. This one here would be something like this. So there are some possibilities which we can do. We can imagine that this size is the same as this one, meaning that our paper would have had to go until here in order to be the same size as this. So what we can do, if we want to really draw this on the full sheet here, we can imagine, okay, so if my paper is the same height, that is fine. So I have this height here, and then I'm calculating. This is 1. I'm turning it around. So I have 1, 2, and a little bit. So when I take this size, it is 1. So I turn it around. It is 1, and just a little bit. You see? So I do not have full 2 times. So that means that in this picture I can only take one hole, and I want to take, let's say, this part because I like how it looks, or maybe even like this. So if we take this part and just a little bit, and we want this to fit on this paper, on this size, we will have to ignore this part here and paint or draw only this part. Otherwise, as I said, you can also draw the same length, this length here, but then if I say, okay, this length is this one here, so this length is identical to this one, then I have to check. So if I have 2 of these ones inside here, I will then divide this paper in 2. I will take this height and turn it around, and that would be somewhere here. So if I now paint, if I want to have this whole picture, I would have to take this part of the paper, and that would be enough. So let's do that. So we have that part. So this is where we are going to put our picture. So we have to think about that. So this part of the paper is not usable. So we will not be using this. And now I'm actually, what I'm doing, I'm never printing the pictures on the paper. This is what I did now, just to show you, but usually I either use my cell phone or a tablet or my PC if I want, and I'm always measuring with my fingers. It's not accurate, but I'm not interested to have this like 100% identical. I just want to have it in that direction. So what I do now, I'm like looking this distance. Let's say from this top here until here, it's a little bit more than a middle, than a half. So it's not really a half, it's a little bit more. So if my paper is here, and I'm like, this is the half, so I have to go a little bit lower, and I would be somewhere here. So this is this part of the mountain, and we said we are painting the whole picture. We are painting the whole picture. We have painted that. We have this size, and this part here again is not in the middle, it's a little bit more up. So I'm looking, this is the middle, and I will go here. Then I have this part here where these two mountains are meeting. I think you can see that, this one here. And again, what I'm doing, I'm calculating. So if I start from here, it's 1, 2, 3, and a little bit. So I will try and take here, like, let's say this is 1, 2, 3, it's too big. 1, 2, 3, maybe like this, 1, 2, 3, and a little bit. This size could be it. So I'm just putting one line here, that this is where these two mountains meet, but they do not meet like completely down, they meet a little bit up there, and I will put one point here, and then I can already put this one. Of course it's not an even line, and then this other one is going like this. And again, I'm calculating 1, 2, and it's a little bit until then. So 1, 2, and it should be somewhere around here from down. And from here, is this the same? It is the same. So it is something like here. And then I can just draw my mountain. It goes like down, and this side I can just do approximately. It does not have to be completely the same. Then I have this one, which is coming somewhere until here, and it's going up. And if we continue, so we have this line here, which is like the final mountain in the distance, and it is moving until somewhere, let's see, let's go until this part where these two mountains meet. So it's somewhere here, and now it's actually decreasing a little bit, it's going down, and then we have another one here, and we can, this is the middle. I'm always searching for some reference points. For example, here I've taken this as a reference point. I have this reference point, this one here, this one here, and from here, as you see, I'm looking up here. I see that this mountain here has a small peak. Look at this peak here. I'm going down here. I already drew it, sorry, the camera was not filming right. And then I'm on this part, so I'm here, and I have like this small tiny mountain somewhere. It starts, I'm looking again at this reference that is somewhere in the middle here, something like this. So as I said, this does not have to be like 100% identical, only if you want to do that kind of work, but only if I'm doing like portraits, I want everything to be on its perfect spot, but otherwise I don't really mind if this mountain is 1 millimeter a little bit on the left or on the right. The most important thing is that you get your big focal points. And if we look at this point we've put here, if we continue to the other side, we also have it here, that other mountain, this one. And from this spot here, we can go to this one. So we go a little bit here, and then the mountain, it goes up, and then it goes down again. So this is that one. This one I already drew, so that's that one, but it is continuing. And there is a little bit here on top, so I'm drawing this one. So like this. And as I said, so this is our bottom line. So as you can see here, how am I going to put this? Like this maybe, yes. So as you can see now, we have all of this part pretty accurate actually. And then we have like, I can calculate again, I'm doing again the calculations. From here, from the top of this mountain until here, I have, it's 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, and a little bit. So if I calculate 1, 2, 3, no, that's just too small. I have to take a bigger measurement. So let's say until here, 1, 2, 2, and 3. So this could actually work. If this is the 2, then here would be that cloud. Then I have another one, 1, 2, that's all in the middle, and this is the ending. But as you can see, this cloud ends somewhere in the middle of the third one. So this is the third one, and the cloud will end here. And this is just the cloud. Now for the clouds, I do not really need some, but you can do the same thing for all the rest of the, and also on the other side. Okay. So I hope this does help a little bit. So this mountain is this one. This mountain is this one. Then we have the other one, which is actually this one here, and it goes the whole way. And then you have those smaller mountains in the back. So that is how I do my sketching using the reference pictures. So either I reduce the size of the paper. If I want to have like this, as I said, this whole picture here, I reduced the size of my paper. Or if I want to have it on this paper but the picture is just too big, then I'm just gonna reduce the picture and just use some part, either this part or this part or some part that I like, and then that thing I can put on the whole page. And in this picture, my focal point would be where the river meets with this mountain here. Then on this side, the river meets here with these woods. I would have this focal point here, that here are those, that the trees are starting here. I have this point. So these are all important points for me. I would also use, I think this point, yes, this one is really important, and it is important where this here meets, so this point. And we can also make this just to know where we are putting this part in the picture. And again, if the size of the paper fits, I'm gonna calculate, as I said before. From here to here, I have this distance. If I take this distance and go one more time down, I have two distances. And then I have a little bit more as a half of this distance from here to here. So what I'm doing, I have this paper. I'm imagining I will separate this paper in two whole distances, 1, 2, and a little bit more than a half. This is a little bit too big. For me, that means I need to increase this distance. I'm increasing it. 1, 2, and that could be it. This is a little bit more than a half. So 1, 2, so 1. That means here this mountain would be. And then I'm looking, okay, from this mountain to here, how much is that? 1, 2, almost 2 can fit here. So if I go 1, 2, too small, 1, 2, that would be it. And here my river would start. So this is the part that I have here in between. So that's it. As I said, that is how I do the pictures. When I'm using the reference pictures that I do not really mind and actually do not want to have 100% identical, it's not really important. If I would want to have this picture exact size as this one, I can, for example, use this and then measure, okay, from here to here, and then I'm putting it here. Or if I want, for example, to increase or decrease the size, I can use something like this. I'm not really sure how this is called in English. I don't even think I know a German word for it. It is something which you can use, for example, to increase or decrease the size of the picture. For example, I will want to paint this on this paper. So I'm going to increase, for example, if this if my mountain goes from here to here, so this mountain, you see how this side is increasing. That means I can just turn this around and put it on my paper here. And now my mountain goes from here, so it's the same size, it's just increased from here to here. I can variate the sizes here, so you can really go from just a little bit increasing to increasing a lot. You can move this up and down. Well, it is a little bit flimsy, I would say, when you have to move it, but it still works. For example, the more you move it in this direction, the more it is like 1-to-1 size, so you're not really increasing the size. So as you can see, this is just a little bit smaller than this size. So yeah, you can use something like this if you want. If you want, for example, to transfer this picture to let's say some bigger canvas or even some bigger paper. But for the smaller pictures, what I usually do like this, as I said, I really just either use my fingers or I use this pencil, and I can do the same thing with the pencil. From here to this tree, it's this size, and I can transfer it like this to my paper from here to here, and I can put the sign here. Okay guys, so I'm a little bit all over the place when I try to explain something to someone. I hope I will get better with that, because I really want to yeah, to share with you how I do the things. Of course, I'm always open to learning. For example, I do not really use the grid method. For me, it's just it's just too much work to make all the grid on your paper and then try to transfer that and draw. It's just too much work for me. It's not my thing. So I do like, as I said, if I'm not doing portraits, where of course you do need to have exact measurements and let's say distances between the nose and the eyes, then I will probably just take my fingers and measure the distances, and that way transfer that to the paper. For the portraits, that is a different thing. Then you have other things. You have, as I said, you have to be accurate. Then you can use this, or you can put the picture on the window and then transfer it, copy it like that. I mean, whatever you want to do it that way. And so it really depends. I never work the same, except, as I said, in this case where I'm doing the landscapes, I do not need to have accurate measurements, so that's why I'm doing it like this. So important thing I think to take away with this is that you have to think about the size of the paper and the size of the reference picture which you want to draw, and you have to set some focal points so that you can see if you are far away from that what you want to draw. And yeah, I hope it was not too confusing. I will try to get a little bit more clearer next time. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.